So we just talked about NVIDIA, not a mistake. I mean, NVIDIA stock has been hit hard out of late as well. In fact, NVIDIA is down 14% in just the past month. A lot of that follows DeepSeek's large language model announcement. Remember that? But despite the recent decline, your next guest thinks this could actually be a buying opportunity to get back into NVIDIA. Joining us now to talk about it all is Joe Moore. He is semiconductor analyst at Morgan Stanley. Joseph, we've now had, a week, 10 days to actually absorb and try to learn about DeepSeek after it kind of came out of the blue and hit us, a lot of us, very hard and very quickly. What have we learned, and what makes you a little more optimistic about NVIDIA?
Yeah, well, look, I think it's a very impressive model that was created out of China. But the space here is one that has a lot of innovation over the course of any given year, any given month. And I think, we see this as more of an evolutionary gain, where DeepSeek was able to get a little bit more out of a small investment than we've seen in the past. But our checks would say that investment in the space remains very robust. We're not seeing people rethink the larger kind of cluster, what we call a large cluster of training models that people have been talking about. There's sort of very clear evidence that persists. So we still quite like the stock. And I think, Jensen has talked about providing 1 million X performance in kind of AI capability in the last decade and doing it again in the next decade. You're going to get deflation along the way. You're going to get indications like this where, people are doing things cheaper and better. And we think that's part of the narrative here.
Yeah, you look at that and you think, okay, well, DeepSeek, and listen, I want to be clear to our viewers and listeners. Some people think DeepSeek is a complete BS. I'm going to use my initials in a nice way, Joseph, and that maybe they're actually using NVIDIA chips and it's a chat GPT, whatever. Let's put aside sort of all the, quote, conspiracy theories over here and just look at NVIDIA's valuation. It is still an expensive stock. How would you defend that valuation number?
Yeah, well, it's actually not that expensive of a stock on earnings. I mean, they're very profitable. So if you think about price to sales, it's quite expensive. But we see the stock trading at a low 20s multiple on next year. So the question is, are those earnings numbers right? Are we going to stay on the trajectory that we're on? I think that we are. I think, in fact, we'll accelerate in the back half of the year. And you've actually seen some of the other AI alternatives, companies that provide custom solutions into AI, such as Broadcom and Marvell, now trading at a premium to where NVIDIA's trading. So it's my view that as we get fully into this Blackwell cycle, we'll get that earnings momentum back quite a bit stronger in the back half of the year. And I don't think it will prove to be that expensive. But, you guys talked about the perils of semiconductors early on. I'm definitely aware of that. And when you have a gold rush like this, things can slow down. The thing is, they're just not right now. We're seeing, despite all of the anxieties around DeepSeek and the next generation models, we continue to see quite a bit of growth through at least the end of this year.